Hello folks, welcome back. Third week of May 2021. Another beautiful Saturday morning. We're going to get in this hive. You probably recognize it from my poly hive update. We had a little hiccup in this one. About 4 weeks ago we pulled the queen and a couple frames of bees. I dropped a ripe queen cell in. That particular queen failed to return. So I got a queenless hive here. Still got a lot of bees. All the old brood had emerged. The bees are starting to age. So to salvage this, I'm going to plug a nuke into it. So we're going to go all the way down to the brood box, inspect it one more time for a laying queen. If I don't see any evidence, I'm going to go grab one of my nukes with a young queen in it, and we're going to put her down in here. Probably rob a frame or two of extra brood out of one of my other hives just to boost this one up. This one's been doing a really good job with honey production this year, so I think by boosting it, that'll help keep them going. We have just entered our main nectar flow. We have blackberry, locust, honeysuckle, and white clover all just starting to bloom. The bees are really pulling it in. I even noticed some of my nukes are starting to get nectar bound, so I got to really watch the nukes real close because they'll backfill really fast and end up swarming. So let's go ahead and get down in here and do a quick inspection and plug a nuke into it. Now this one I didn't use the 6mm plastic poly inner cover. Show you the difference if you watched my last video. This one I did not use it, and they tend to glue these lids down, wax them down, purplize them. They seal them up pretty good. Kind of makes a little bit of a mess. Now there's that recess that you can use for pollen patties, fondant, things like that. See what they end up doing with it if you don't use like a piece of plastic for an inner cover. Kind of makes a little bit of a mess. Now these girls have went to town. Got a few little small ants up here. They have went to town with their honey production this year. These two top boxes are just absolutely packed. Let's take a quick look here. See if we can get one of these out. Yeah. So the girls are doing really good in this hive. The idea was I was pulling the old queen out and I'm going to requeen it with a young queen to keep it going. Well, we had that little hiccup when she didn't return from her mating flights. We're going to fix that. So, right in between on these plastic gives you the perfect prying spot. That is very heavy. A lot of new wax. Got these filled pretty good, but they're not as capped as much. Take one of these outer ones out, which is the least amount compared to the center ones. And that is just absolutely full of honey and nectar. We can get up underneath here and get this pried off this wood box now. The problem with them lipping over the wood box, you can't really get up underneath it. We'll get it. Try the back side. There we go. very heavy box again. This is a box of new frames with new foundation. Just now starting to pull the wax out on this. Now, as I mentioned in the Poly Hive 1-year review, see how the queen excluders for a standard Langstroth fits really good right on here. Fits right across that raised lip. Move the camera in a little closer. We're going to do a quick inspection here, see if there is a laying queen, and if not, which I suspect there isn't, we're going to fix that. So let me move the camera a little closer. This box is still full of bees, so we're going to give them just a touch of smoke. They seem pretty calm, so just a little touch of smoke here. I don't want to mess with them too much. Start in here and do a quick inspection. See if we show any evidence of a laying queen. Outside frame's got a lot of nectar on it. Pretty empty on the back side. Let's see what we got here as we move over. Tremendous amount of bee bread, pollen. A little bit of nectar across the top. A little bit of capped honey at the very top. Backside, same thing. Bee bread and nectar. Tremendous amount of pollen again. We did have an excellent pollen flow this year. And you can see there's pollen still coming in. That's always a good sign. Backside, same thing. Tremendous amount of bee bread and nectar. Glove got caught there. I wear these gloves because I can't stand the propolis. Bingo, we do have a laying queen. Now let's see if we can find her. We went through this a week ago, no evidence of a queen whatsoever. This frame is just absolutely full of tiny larvae. I'm actually pretty excited. I don't have to requeen it after all. Change of plans. I don't know if the camera will pick up any of that. It's kind of shaded over here right now. The sun hasn't quite cut around here. So now, let's hunt for the queen. Backside here is absolutely full of larvae also. This is a good example of not rushing to anything. The sister to this queen, several sisters of this queen, have been laying for probably 3 weeks. And I was in here last week, exactly 7 days ago. I didn't see anything. She may have started a little bit, and I just didn't notice it. But I just thought it was a good idea. Hey, we're just going to go 1 more week before we jump to conclusions. You notice the bees are really calm. That's always a good indication that there's a queen. These are a open bred Carney mix. The original mother to this hive that I pulled out of here was a second generation that was open bred on the farm. This particular queen is a first generation. She's off of a pure Carney breeder queen. She should be a fairly dark queen. Now, being as she just started laying, she might not be real big yet. So she may be challenging to spot. And the darker queens are always challenging to spot. They just blend in really well. Now, if I don't spot her, once I go through, not really a problem. I would like to spot her, I would like to mark her. I like to mark my queens. That way, if they have a supersedure or swarm or anything like that, I know that I've got a new queen in the box. At a glance, I can tell the age, but I tend to keep fairly young queens. Young queens are very productive. And the funny part is, I'll probably watch this video later and say, hey, there's that queen. So, some old cells there. We're going to get rid of those. I'm sure you can hear one of my roosters in the background crowing. He can be a little annoying on the videos. He's a big boy. We have buff Brahmas, the full size, the large fowl buff Brahmas. We just have a few of them. And there's our queen. Now, she's down here. See if we can get her on the camera there. I'm guessing at where the camera's pointing. Now, I've already found 2 open cells. I think what these girls did, they tore down my cell that I put in and created a queen off of the previous queen that was in here. Because I did find an open cell over here. So it looks like they rejected my cell and went ahead and created their own. And I'm good with that. The mother to this colony was a really good queen. Now where did she go? It's like Michael Palmer says, they have a cloaking device. You look and look and look, don't see them, then poof, yeah, there she is. And you look back, where'd they go? Okay, I found her. So I'm trying to keep an eye on her, get my marker ready here. And see if we can get her marked. Then we're just going to pop her back in there. Step away over here and get my marker ready. There she is. We're going to push her back on the frame. I really prefer to do this with bare hands though. So that's what we're going to do. Gloves are coming off. And I'll dry them real quick because my hands are quite wet. Okay, get the other bee off. Got the shakes a little bit this morning. So we're going to mark our little queen. Hopefully you can see that. Drop her right back on the frame. And right back in. So that was a little bit of a change of events. Ended up with a laying queen, young laying queen. Didn't have to put a nuke in it after all. It appears that the queen cell that I put in, which should have hatched on April 22nd, it either didn't hatch or they just flat out rejected it. They raised their own from apparently the leftover eggs that were in the hive when I pulled the original queen and small split out of it. And I'm fine with that. The original queen was a really good queen. She had a lot of good daughters I've raised off of her also. They tended to be really calm on the comb. They were just overall fairly calm bees, and they produced a good honey crop last year, and they were on a really good start this year for me. So I don't have a problem with them raising their own queen. It just wasn't what I expected. So today's May 22nd, so it's about a month after I had placed that other cell in. You know, things kind of change. Bees do what bees do. You know, we try to guide them in our direction, but they still do what they do. Like I said, I'm happy with it overall. I didn't have to put a nuke in it. I still have a good laying queen, looks like. We'll see how they do rest of this year. I'm hoping that this queen has a really calm hive, just like its mother and grandmother did. So it'll take a few weeks for the nest to turn over and for her offspring to take over on this. Overall, they did really well. I'm happy with it. So hope everybody liked this. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you follow and subscribe. If you got any questions, put them in the comments below. Appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see you next time.